Hello and welcome to ERi-TV English News Broadcast. From the heart of our celebrating nation here in Asmara, I'm Heaven Johans, your news anchor for May 24th, 2025. Do stay tuned and let's first begin with the major headlines. Independence Day celebrated enthusiastically. Message of congratulations to the people and government of Eritrea. In our domestic news, the 34th anniversary of Independence Day was celebrated with great enthusiasm this afternoon, 24 May, during an official ceremony held at Asmara Stadium. In his keynote address, President Isaias Afwerki extended congratulations to the patriotic Eritrean people at home and abroad, to all friends of Eritrea, to the free peoples of the world, and to all those who conveyed their sincere congratulations to the Eritrean people. President Isaias stated that as we assess the trajectory of our independence, sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity each year, in the context of our formidable nation-building process, it's essential to clearly understand from an objective and relational perspective the global and regional environment. He emphasized that the strengthening and safeguarding of our independence cannot be viewed in isolation from an establishment of a just global order and a regional architecture based on mutual respect, complementarity, cooperation, stability and progress. President Isaias noted that while the assessment of global and regional developments over the past year and earlier years remains relevant, what distinguished this 34th Independence Day anniversary is its coincidence with President Trump's rise to the highest office in the United States. Considering the global influence of the U.S. and the perspectives of already outlined, he underscored the need for serious analysis to understand the underlying policies, approach and trends of the new administration. He reiterated that as we focus on contemporary times, particularly the 35 years since the end of the Cold War, marked by the theme of U.S. uncontested global preeminence and control, the massive and rising national debt now exceeding $30 trillion due to wasteful administrations in Washington serves as a telling indicator. Washington's short-sighted strategy of offshoring industries to countries like China for cheaper labor and energy in pursuit of higher profits has ultimately backfired, resulting in severe economic losses. Amidst the global rivalries shaping this transitional phase toward a new global order, President Isaias stressed that Africa remains virtually absent. This marginalization is neither shocking nor surprising. Despite its vast natural resources, Africa continues to export raw materials at minimal prices while importing expensive manufactured goods, maintaining a subsistence economy heavily dependent on foreign aid. He suggested that in light of Trump's indicative policies, the precarious African system based on aid and subsidies might face what is often referred to as the unintended consequences of change, an outcome that could potentially open new opportunities for the continent. President Isaias posed critical questions. How will Africa act in the coming 4 years? What will Africa do to contribute to a sustainable and fair global order? These reflections, he said, will help refine Eritrea's policy direction. On Eritrea's regional strategy, President Isaias reaffirmed that its permanent goal is to cultivate strong regional ties founded on mutual respect, complementarity, cooperation, stability, prosperity and integration. He emphasized that the neighborhood's geostrategic significance had made it vulnerable to foreign interference and subversive acts driven by geopolitical ambitions. In these contexts, he cited the crisis in Sudan and Ethiopia as illustrative examples. President Isaias noted that the Sudanese people made commendable progress in the early decades after their liberation in 1956, but this was derailed from 1989 onwards by the detrimental policies of the National Islamic Front. When the people's patience wore thin, they rose in a spontaneous uprising that led to a transitional period entrusted to the sovereign army. However, foreign actors seeking to derail the process began to instigate conflict by manipulating internal factions. These led to a compounded crisis and a descent into military confrontation, exacerbated by foreign-funded rivalries. He emphasized that the Sudanese people bearing the brunt of this ordeal are resisting the subversion and deserve full unconditional support from neighboring countries, not as a favor but as a moral obligation. Addressing the situation in Ethiopia, President Isaias said that the long-standing crisis rooted in 80 years of flawed policies, particularly those driven by U.S. figures like Foster Dulles and mirrored by Soviet missteps during the Cold War, are well documented. After the Cold War, Ethiopia shifted toward ethnic polarization rather than nation-building based on citizenship. The resulting turmoil, he said, needs little elaboration. He recalled the optimism that followed the suppressed reforms in Ethiopia 7 years ago, hope that resonated across Eritrea and the region. However, he noted that external forces unsettled by these developments were not idle. The wars they have declared against the Ethiopian people under the rubric of prosperity, their new surrogate in the past few years, is illustrative of their desperation. The pretexts and banners are many, the reckless agendas and their preemptive features transparent. They include the issue of water, Nile and the Red Sea, access to the sea, ideology of Oromuma that does not represent the Oromo people, the conundrum of a Cushitic Semitic antagonism, instrumentalizing the people and land of Afar as a ruse and convenient platform, stoking ethnic wars all over, and so on. The purchasing spree set in motion to acquire weapons and technology in order to unleash these declared wars, the accompanying bravado and military brinkmanship are all well known and documented. The dollars squandered to enlist the collaboration of trailers and turncoats are limitless. The tools of psychological warfare deployed as a third pillar so as to spread abject lies, suppress and distort truths and facts, and foment hatred and grievances are numerous too. Overt and covert acts of subversion being concocted against the people and government of Eritrea are well known to all and sundry. President Isaias stressed that the Ethiopian people have already made their choice, and they are buckling up to strengthen their opposition. The people and government of Eritrea do not regret the unreserved support that they vigorously extended with high hopes to the presumed rectification and reform because of the sudden turn of events. They do not have the appetite to indulge in platforms of lies and futile acrimony. They call on the external forces that are embroiled in concocting subversion to fold their hands or tentacles. As for the few collaborators and vacillating elements, they urge them to stay away from these transgressions. Domestically, President Isaias outlined Eritrea's continued commitment to development programs prioritized by sector, including water infrastructure, energy, agriculture, marine resources, housing, transport, education, health, and tourism. This will be further expanded through an integrated development program in all 6 regions, based on detailed plans and resource mobilization, most importantly through widespread public participation. He said the scope and quality of development activities previously undertaken with the defense forces will be expanded through better institutional organization and increased popular involvement. He acknowledged delays in collecting data needed to engage Eritrean diaspora communities in national development, but confirmed that concrete participation will begin in the second half of 2025. This diaspora involvement will complement the efforts of the 6 regions and the defense forces, while other individual and group projects will continue independently. The overarching goal of the development agenda, he explained, is to improve the living standards of all Eritreans, especially the most vulnerable, and to transition from a subsistence economy to one driven by productivity, manufacturing, and sustainable industrialization. He noted that the agenda extends beyond economies to include diplomacy and communications, especially given the current global and regional climate. Human capital, he stressed, remains the nation's most vital resource. Ambassador Zemede Tehle, Commissioner of Culture and Sports and Chairperson of the National Holidays Organizing Committee, commended all contributors for ensuring the success of the colorful celebration. The official Independence Day ceremony was broadcast live on ERi-TV and Dimtz Hafash. It featured a military parade, an aerial show by the Eritrean Air Force, and various musical and calisthenics performances. Indeed, a momentous joy of national pride. In another news, leaders of the Kingdom of Jordan, Republic of Burundi, Republic of Benin and Republic of Maldives have sent messages of congratulations to the people and government of Eritrea on the occasion of the 34th Independence Day anniversary. King Abdullah II of the Kingdom of Jordan, President Evariste of the Republic of Burundi, President Patrice Talon of the Republic of Benin and President Dr. Mohamed Muizu of the Republic of Maldives conveyed their best wishes for good health to President Isaias Afwerki, as well as peace and prosperity to the Eritrean people. The leaders also expressed their country's readiness to further develop and strengthen bilateral relations for the mutual benefit of their nations and Eritrea. Meanwhile, in his message, the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations also wished peace and prosperity to the Eritrean people. This wraps up our news for this session, dear viewers, and now a quick recap of the major headlines. Independence Day celebrated enthusiastically. Message of congratulations to the people and government of Eritrea. With this, we conclude our Independence Day news broadcast, dear viewers. Thank you for joining. Our cohesion, our armor, happy Independence Day, and have a good night.